careful with EMPH is what I'm saying. All right, it's a little funky. But shooter on the week, shooter on the week. We'll put it on the watch list. It is it is inside on the month, so we'll put that on the weekly watch list. All right, so let's go talk to Jason Krutzky. Let's go look at Trade Jason and look at let's go look at some TrendSpider tools. All right, take it away, Jason.
Hey everybody, Jason here from TrendSpider. Hope you're all doing well. I want to give a big thank you to Jermaine for inviting me to come today and kind of talk about TrendSpider and some of the functionality that's available on the platform. I wanted to maybe show you some things that perhaps you didn't know existed that you utilize in your day-to-day processes. And then I also wanted to take the time to share a few of the new tools that we've brought to the platform this year that you might not be aware of. So first things first here, you can see on my chart, I've got the Strat patterns identified, and I've also got this nice symmetrical broadening range, and I'm identifying those things with, of course, tools that are on the platform. The chart patterns tool can automatically identify all kinds of different patterns, all of the important broadening ranges, your channels, your double tops and bottoms, your triangles, your wedges. But I'm just going to focus in on symmetrical symmetrical broadening patterns here. Now, being able to visually identify those patterns is one piece of the puzzle, but then really kind of the bigger piece of the puzzle is identifying all of them, right? Finding all of the names that have these patterns occurring right now. And we've got some pre-built scans that are designed specifically for doing that. So if you type in broadening here into your shared scanners list, and it's going to be true regardless of the patterns that you're looking for, but type in broadening and you're going to get a list of shared scanners that are going to help you identify broadening patterns across the market, and all different kinds, right? You've got any broadening pattern, or you can get specific with the specific types, whether it be ascending or descending or asymmetrical or symmetrical. So I'm going to focus in, like I said, on the symmetrical patterns here. I'm going to go ahead and turn my current candle toggle on so that we find them occurring right now. And as I flip through these charts, you can see that we're getting a bunch of names that have symmetrical broadening patterns occurring on the chart right now. And so we've just taken, what could potentially be a ton of time, and we've taken it down into just seconds to find these names. But we can actually kind of get more specific, and we might want to get more specific with this. As I go through the charts, you could see why I would potentially want to define a little bit more about these patterns, right? Some of these have prices already broken down below the bottom. Some of them have price, kind of leaning towards the bottom, but kind of in the middle as well, right? All of these setups are different. In this particular case of O right here, you've got price right at the bottom trying to find support. So, depending on the type of setup that you might be looking for, you might want to take and make this scan more specific. So let's say, for example, you want to define that price is relatively close to the bottom of the broadening pattern. Well, in order to do that, you would just add a condition, and we could say price close is within range of chart pattern broadening bottom. And then you just define your percentage that it's within range of, and I'll just use 5% here just as a test. And so we get back a new set of names. And I mean, all of these names were coming up in the previous scan, but now we're getting more specific with it. Well, the next piece that we may want to define as we, again, scroll through this list, we're getting lots of different setups here. In some cases, price is just broken below today. In some cases, price broke below over the past couple of days. In some cases, again, price is perhaps not quite there to the bottom of the range. So let's maybe get this a little bit more specific and say that we want price to be above the bottom of the range as well. We've said that it's within a percentage distance of the range, but now let's also say that it's above the bottom line as well. So we'll say price close is greater than chart pattern bottom. And then when we run this scan once more, it gets a little bit more specific. Now, if we want to, we could also add a strat pattern. Let's say, for example, we want to identify, I don't know, all of the names that have 2 down on the daily, right? We could do that as well. we have to do is just go to candlestick patterns, say daily, search 2 down. And actually, all of the names that came up in the last scan also are 2 down. Maybe we want to then define that although the candle is 2 down, maybe we want to see it closing green on the day, kind of like O is here. Well, we can add that too. We can say price close greater than price open. And so now we've taken that, really broad-based, just looking for that broadening symmetrical pattern, and we've made it very specific to what we are looking for. We've added these conditions to it to make it more of what we actually would be looking for in a day-to-day basis. Now, the next thing that I want to talk you guys through, let's say you're just looking for those broadening patterns. One new functionality that we've brought to the platform recently is called scheduled scanning. So instead of, having to wake up every day and scan the market manually for the particular setups that you might be interested in, scheduled scanning allows you to take a scan and put it on a schedule so that those scan results can be sent directly to your inbox every single day. You don't have to do a bit of work. They'll just come right to you. So let me show you quickly how you go about setting that up. Once you run the scan, if you click on the 3 dots here and say run this scanner on a schedule, you can then choose the days that you want to receive the scan, the times that you want to receive the scan. You can either choose pre-market or post-market. It's up to you. And you can have varying times here for each day. And then just say create. And then once a scheduled scan has been created, every single day you're going to get an email that looks like this. And it comes whenever you request it to, or at the time that you schedule it. And what it does, it gives you a breakdown of names that are meeting that criteria right now, names that have fallen off that list, names that are still on that list from yesterday. So you'll notice that each of these boxes here is a different color. The blue boxes represent names that are new to the scan. They didn't have that pattern previously, but they have it now. The red names are names that had the pattern previously, don't have it now. And then the gray names are names that had the pattern yesterday and again have it today. So this is a quick and easy way to understand and just right off the bat know what names are meeting your criteria, whatever that criteria might be, and what names are not any longer. All right, so another interesting tool that we recently brought to the platform is called the stock market maps. And kind of to thread the needle here between these broadening patterns and the market maps, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to these 3 dots and I'm going to say clone into a new watch list. And we'll just call this broadening patterns today and create. And so now that I've created that list, it's going to be available over here in my watch list. If I type in broadening, here are all of the names. But I can also now utilize this watch list in tools like the stock market map. So if I open up the stock market map, there are 2 types of maps. You've got tile maps. You guys are probably familiar with these, kind of like the heat map style. And then we've got bubble maps. And for each of these types of maps, if you click on the title here, you can choose to load in a watch list. So if I type in broadening patterns today, and say apply, it's going to load up those names that are meeting that broadening pattern criteria, but it's as a bubble map. And, so this axis measures 7-day change. The farther along the right-hand side of the axis, the more a name has moved in the past 7 days. And then this axis represents the 30-day change. And so, the way that I would utilize a bubble map is kind of for tracking rotation, seeing what names have moved the most, what names have moved the least over a certain period of time. This is also a really great tool for tracking like ETFs flow, just rotation across index ETFs. This is just a really quick and simple way to kind of like see, what ETFs are in control, which ones are moving, which ones aren't. And then over here on the tile map side, again, same idea. I can type in broadening here. And And then I can utilize these tile size and tile color drop down menus to define what it is I might be looking for. Generally, I'm going to make these linear maps, meaning the tile size and the tile color are going to be representing the same metric. But we've got a bunch of fundamental metrics that you can use if you're into fundamental analysis. In this case, I've got market cap selected. And so when I say apply, I can very quickly take that list of names that have broadening patterns, and I can kind of see which one is the biggest market cap, which one is the smallest market cap, and so on. And, like I say, you can break this down by lots of different fundamental data points. Think things like earnings and revenue, free cash flow, if that's something that you're interested. But you can also break it down the same way you broke down the bubble charts by percentage change, whether or dollar change, be it over the past day, over the past week, over the past 7 calendar days, month to date, year to date, and so on. Of course, all of the metrics that we just went over here on the tile maps are available on the bubble maps as well. I want to make sure you guys know the percentage change moves all across all those different time frames are the same on both styles of map. Still, another key feature that has seen a lot of big changes this year is the What's Happening Now feature. If you turn that on and click Add a Feed, you'll see all the different types of data feeds that are available. We've got unusual options feeds, insider trades, analyst estimates, dividends, Congress trading, lots of stuff here that you can utilize. So let's say, for example, you're looking for, insiders buying stock. We've got a bunch of pre-mades, and then you can go in here and you can also adjust things to, whatever you might be looking for. So in this case, this pre-made data set is looking for any insider trades above $5 million. And so, of course, a good selection of them are cells. But if we come in here and click, you can click the 3 dots on any of the columns, and it's going to open up the panel to filter. And so if you click on filter, you can then go in and add filters. And let's say maybe we want to find ones that are only buys. And maybe we can reduce this because $5 million buys are not super common. And we can also say, maybe a minimum volume type as well, maybe at least, 200,000 shares or something like that, and say apply. And what this is going to do, it's going to filter out exactly that. Only the buys that were at least 250,000 shares above $1 million in value. And if we pull this down here, all of the ticker symbols here are going to take you direct to the ticker symbol, or rather the chart of that ticker symbol too. And just so you're aware, all of the feeds, you can add multiple feeds, and all of the feeds are going to be editable in that way or filterable in that way. So filter them to whatever you need. For the analyst estimates, one thing that we like to do a lot here, we like to pick particular symbols, to share, just exactly what's going on for a particular name. You could also, if you wanted to, you could come in here and say, is any of, and add multiple names if there are particular ones that you want to look for. So this just allows you to see all of the most up-to-date analyst estimates for the particular names that you want. And again, these data flow or these data sets are completely filterable to your specs however you want them. All right, so a couple other items I want to show you guys here. One of these is something that's near and dear to my heart. I've had a lot of fun playing around with this particular tool. If you open up the strategy tester, up in the right-hand corner, you're going to see a new button up here called the Variance Explorer. Last time I did some video work with you guys, I believe that I helped build a little strategy, and we kind of showed you how to create a trading bot out of that strategy. Well, what the Variance Explorer allows us to do is test multiple strategies on multiple names, multiple time frames at the same time. If you've ever created strategies on your own, kind of like the one big hang up about creating strategies is that as you change them and you adjust them and you try them on different time frames or different candle periods, all of the data changes too. And so it's hard to kind of keep track of all that stuff to see, which strategy worked best or which name or which time frame. And the Variance Explorer is built to solve that problem. So I want to show you just very quickly. I'm going to just utilize some strat patterns. Let's say we want to get in on a 2 down, 2 up reversal, and then maybe we want to get out on the opposite of that, a 2 up, 2 down. So what I'll do here is I'll just, set my time frame, how far back I want to test. So this thing's going to test that entry and exit on the past 10,000 candles, and we're going to get some data back here. We're testing it on United Health. Once I have a strategy built that I'm really interested in, I could save it. So we'll call it 2D2U strat and say save. And then when I open up the Variance Explorer, what it's going to do is it's going to open up that strategy, or it's going to like preset that strategy for me. And then I have resolutions, depth, and symbols. And so within the Strategy Variance Explorer, you can utilize up to 52 variants at once across strategies, resolutions, depths, and symbols. So you can test, one strategy on one time frame on up to 52 names, or a couple of strategies on a couple of time frames on maybe, 15 or 20 names. You can choose what you want to do here, the how you set all of this up, but let's just kind of give you, I'll just pick a few things here, just the 15, the 30, the 1 hour. And then I'm going to remove all of the symbols that are in there right now. And I'm just going to go to load from watch list and type in broadening again. And I'm going to grab that broadening patterns today. Remember, I said we can utilize, once you create a watch list, you can utilize it kind of across the platform. So there's another way that you can utilize it. So what this has just done, it brought in all 12 of the names that are that currently have that broadening pattern right now. So I can test them on that strategy on these three time frames, and say compute, and within just a couple of seconds, I get all of the data back on all those time frames on all of those names. So this is as if I were to just have run, 30, well, actually more than that. Yeah, 30-ish tests, 36 tests. But I'm getting all the data back at once. So I've got, the net performance of the strategy, how many positions I took, my win rate, my max drawdown, my average return, and so on. And so what this allows me to do is just very quickly understand, of those names that have those broadening patterns, if this is the strategy that I want to trade, which name is the best one to trade based off of that strategy. So right off the bat, you see that UNH here has the best return for this particular strategy. So, if you were looking first to identify those patterns, and then you knew you had this strategy that you like to utilize, right very quickly, you could get down to the fact that, hey, all right, United Healthcare on the 1 hour time frame simply offers the best returns if that's the strategy that you want to trade. While we're on the subject of talking about strategies, I'd be remiss if I didn't take at least just a few minutes and point you guys towards the newest tool that we've just launched to the platform called the AI Strategy Lab. What we did here when we created this very simple strategy, this is essentially an algorithmic strategy, right? We defined the very specific entry and exit criteria that makes this strategy what it is. And if you've ever created strategies on your own, you know that this process can be pretty time consuming, right? It requires a pretty deep knowledge of technical analysis. It requires quite a bit of backtesting to get to a strategy that is viable. Well, what we've done with the Strategy Lab is we've sought to create a tool that helps people who are newer to creating strategies develop strategies on their own. By the goal here, or really what the lab does, is it removes the hardest part of strategy creation, which is defining the entry criteria that gets you into the trade. Now, I don't want to dig too deep into the details of all of these individual components live for you guys. I just know that I'm not going to do as good of a job as some of the material that we've already created to help people understand how to utilize this tool. So what I'm going to do in this particular moment is I'm going to encourage you to check out two resources. If you go to trendspider.com/blog, there's a blog in there called Building an AI Strategy, or Building a Strategy with AI Strategy Lab. This blog goes in detail and talks through the entire process, how to think through the entire process of how to build an AI strategy in the lab. There's an accompanying video that you can watch as well. Additionally, earlier this week, we hosted an event, a live event. Hopefully some of you guys came to that, where we built a strategy for Tesla using the lab. Again, in this, we went very, very deep into the thought process behind defining each component of a model. That's the market data to train, that's the prediction horizon, the AI model type, and finally the model inputs, and then reading the different models, how to read the charts, and how to utilize different tools within the lab. I really encourage you guys to take some time and go through those two resources if you're interested in checking out the lab. It's a really fascinating tool, and I just don't know if I can do it as much justice in this live setting as these videos do that we made. So take some time, like I said, go through this. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm an open book. My DMs are open on Twitter. You can reach out to me at Krutzky Trades. Happy to answer any questions that you have. And once you guys have taken a little bit of time to kind of consume some of this stuff, maybe we can schedule a session, Jermaine, where I come in and we kind of talk through and maybe build a model based off of ideas that y'all have. I think that would be really constructive, and I'd be happy to do it. So just let me know if you guys want to do that. So I'm going to jump out of here. Again, Jermaine, thank you for having me. I hope that this little session was helpful. Hopefully you learned something new. And again, like I said, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me at Krutzky Trades on Twitter. You can also email me, jason@nichetheory.com. Happy to help with whatever I can help with. All right, guys. Well, happy holidays to you all. I hope you have a great rest of the year trading, and we'll talk again soon.
Hey, that was awesome. There's a lot of tools in there. I know I always say I want to do like the easy like stuff, but that's pretty complex. I'm going to get in there and learn that stuff. I got Unlocking Broadening Formations. It's live right now at thestratsoldier.com. Get in there. It's going to be, because everybody has issues with broadening formations. Why we use them, how we use them, how to draw them, when do we look at them, how many do we have on the chart, why do we even use these things? Come on now, get in there. Unlocking Broadening Formations. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun, and we're going to get rid of all the questions you have about broadening formations. Get in there. All right. Unlocking Broadening Formations. It's live right now at thestratsoldier.com. Get in there. It's going to be, because everybody has issues with broadening formations. Why we use them, how we use them, how to draw them, when do we look at them, how many do we have on the chart, why do we even use these things? Come on now, get in there. Unlocking Broadening Formations. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun, and we're going to get rid of all the questions you have about broadening formations. Get in there. All right.